Hello there and welcome to the Bearded Peacock. It's my channel where we talk all things Leeds United and Leeds fans. I'm reacting to the disappointing game last night. As of recording, we went 1-0. We went down 1-0 at the Bet365 Stadium against Stoke City on Wednesday night. And I was trying to do it last night, this sort of reaction video, but I was too angry. I was too angry. I was too disappointed, distraught, mentally drained after watching that boring game of just nothing for Leeds United. So frustrating it was. And I'm angry at two men. There's two enemies for me in this game, and enemies that, you know, need to fix up really, and not enemies, they are on our team, but enemies from last night. They do need to fix up. If you want to look at my player ratings for this game, it is on the Instagram account. Follow me if you like. At the B Peacock is the handle name. So yeah, player ratings are on there. They're not very good, but put yours down in the comments. Put yours down in the comments on this video as well if you like. But yeah, look, Daniel Farke is enemy number one for me last night, and I'm getting increasingly frustrated with Daniel Farke, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, he might know how to win this league, and yeah, he does. He's won it twice. The facts are there, but there was no need to rest players yesterday. There was no need for it. We'd won the game. I understand it if we'd have lost against Norwich, and I understand the performance wasn't good. But this is where I'm getting frustrated. Increasingly frustrated with him is the performances haven't been good over the last few. I think the fact that we've scored more goals than the opposition in each of the last three games leading up to this game at Stoke papered over the cracks a little bit. I think it hasn't. I don't know. It just hasn't been the free flowing, fast football that we've played at times this season. It's not been in all of those three games leading up to this one. It's been disjointed. We've had to dig in. We haven't quite put teams to the sword when we should have done. We've missed chances. We've not been clinical, and it all boiled down to Stoke on a cold Wednesday night, as the old adage goes, and we couldn't do it. I asked the question, could we do it? It turned out we couldn't do it. Very, very frustrating. The team to start was experimental, experimental to say the least. In a game, and what it come back to me was when I heard him speak before the game, saying we're primarily here to win football games and not develop in terms of actually great develop players and experiment with players. He continued with Archie Gray at right back, and Archie Gray continued for me to be poor. Archie Gray had a terrible game yesterday. Was putting the team under constant danger in that first half, especially. Didn't offer anything going forward. And it's something when you're crying out for Luke Ayling to come on, isn't it? Really, and give us that bit more attacking option. Willing Onto, I know actually wasn't a change, but Willing Onto was offered nothing. And Willing Onto is really, really struggling in this championship campaign to get any kind of space on the ball. You watch any game that he's involved in for Leeds this season, he's immediately crowded out. Immediately, he's never given space or time to do anything. He's constantly fouled, whether the ref sees it or not. He is, and he offered nothing really. First half was shocking. I mean, three changes: Gruev for Kamara, Jaden Anthony for Somerville, and Willing on for Dan James. I mean, Somerville saved us on Saturday, scored those two excellent, lovely goals to win us the game, turn it around from a defeat and a losing situation, and then he gets dropped. Imagine that. Oh, Cree, well done. You win us the game on Saturday. Oh, by the way, mate, you're not going to play on Wednesday at Stoke. His confidence must have been high after that game, and then to be put on the bench, I'm not sure about that. Gruev was awful. Offered nothing really. I'm sure he's a good player, is he, like Gruev? But it certainly didn't showcase anything last night in terms of how good he is. But the whole team were poor. Jaden Anthony for me was the worst player on the pitch. In fact, I've given him a score in my ratings as on the Instagram account as one because I thought he was that bad. Couldn't control the ball. His passes were always too short. Because Stoke were playing pretty high, Jaden Anthony was playing as like a left wing back at times, and I was impressed with Stoke going forward. Vidigal, isn't it? And on the left side, and also is it Hoover or whoever he is? He he played well on that right side as well. I thought there was a nice little bit of play between the two of them where he dances past one of our defenders and spins past him on that right side, gives a ball in, and that Vidigal's on there just to head into Melier's arms. If it was either side of him, we'd been in trouble. But I think we did actually create the best chance of the first half. Joel Perreault's got a score for me. He's put through, I think, by Jorginho Rutter midway through the first half. It's our first shot, I think. Keeper saves it easily. Should be scoring for me. Should be scoring that for me. And Perreault was awful. You know, finished 0-0 at half time. We're probably a bit lucky to go in at half time 0-0. And that was the saving grace, wasn't it? We'd played horribly, and yet it was still 0-0. And you thought it can only get better. It could get slightly better. Leeds came out second half, played okay, better than they did in the first half. Couldn't get any worse than they did in the first half, but played better second half. Played a bit more tempo. I thought Ruta came into the game more, was pulling us up the pitch with his muscly runs. Muscling off defenders, running into their half, and little link up play was a little bit better. It's sort of interchanging, but ultimately we weren't really testing them. We're crying out for players to come off the bench, and that did happen in the 70th minute. Triple sub, Bamford on. Bamford, bloody hell, we'll talk about him in a second. Um, Somerville eventually came on, and so did Dan James. Yeah, it was Dan James, wasn't it? And Dan James annoyed me as well because there was a point in that just after he came on where he shot and he got blocked and he could have passed it. Bamford was in a lot of space out wide, but he chose to ignore him. Um, then we get to the penalty, 75th minute now. And it's a lovely bit of play initially from Bamford to win the penalty. Ben Pearson and it just, I don't know if he slips, but it's a clear penalty. Stone wall of a penalty, complete penalty every day of the week. But as soon as he gets it, as soon as we get it, you're thinking, please, no. Don't give it Patty Bamford. Don't give it Bam Bam. And what did he do? Apparently, according to Baron Cross on Twitter, who is a reporter, isn't he? Goes to all the games and I think he's Leeds Live, isn't it? Which is a rag, but it's an absolute rubbish um, publication. But he goes to all the games. He said on Twitter, didn't he, that apparently Somerville wanted the pen. Strauch was a little bit passive, and Bamford wouldn't give up the ball. Bamford wanted to take it. He wanted a confidence boost. Of course he did. But it's all about the team. You know that. He's missed ones before. He missed a crucial one at the end of the Premier League season last season against Newcastle, which would have effectively at that time, I think, won us that game. This would have won us that game last night. If he scores, we win. We might even get a second goal as well. Um, and then it's so that's the difference between winning and losing, isn't it? So fine. If we'd have scored that goal, if he'd have put that penalty in, we'd have won that game and nobody would have even bothered. We played awful, but it was one of them games. We got through it. 3 points onto Huddersfield on Saturday. As it is, he misses, he blazes it over the bar. Immediately, I had no confidence in him scoring that goal. No confidence in scoring it. I don't know how he's got it that high over the bar because he just looks like he's nonchalantly kicked it and it's just like flown over into our fans behind him, behind that goal, in front of him, sorry. Shocking penalty, and he needs to have a look at himself, really. It's the team, it's that old saying of Leeds United, side before self, and Bamford wasn't that. He never has been for Leeds for me. He's a poor player, he's injury stricken, strudled with injury, and he just needs to call it a day. And it's on Fark as well. It's Fark every day of the week. You don't do the changes he did. I know he said after the game that Joe Perot was the penalty taker. He would have taken it if he was on the pitch. I'm sure he probably would have done. Bamford might have had something to say about it, but actually at that point he's probably not on the pitch, but he might have been. And for me, Patrick just needs to. We need to find a way out of Patrick's contract, really, for both parties, uh, because he's not doing himself any favors, missing chances, missing crucial moments, crucial penalties like this last night. Um, you know, no, just let somebody else take. We've seen in that Salford City Cup defeat on penalties, the lads are good at penalties. Bamford didn't take one that night. Luckily, we still lost, but he didn't take one that night. And we scored all of them up until Shackleton's. They know how to take penalties. So give it one of them guys. And some of us asking for it, some of us should get it. Strauch should remember from last season, he was there. I think he was probably playing, wasn't he, on the pitch that day. I think he's missed his last three penalties for Leeds. And I think he's only scored 5 of his 10. So he's only scored half of his penalties. He's no good. Last season, obviously, different kettle of fish, but the Premier League, Rodrigo was fantastic at penalties. Even further back from that, Mateus Click was fantastic at penalties. You know, you knew that it was going in. If Clicky was on the ball there, standing over that penalty last night, you knew it was in. We knew we are probably going to win this game. As soon as Patrick Bamford stepped up and was over that penalty, I knew he was going to miss. And obviously, it gave Stoke confidence. Why wouldn't it? The crowd got up, the players got up. Um, Immediately after he missed it, they got within 5 minutes, within a couple of minutes, they make a sub. One of them which is Wesley, and he has a hand in their winning goal eventually. They get a free kick. It's a cheap free kick. Pascal Strout defends it well. He did not defend the corner well. Neither did the whole team. Um, it's crossed in from their left, and I think it's Wesley heads it onto the bar. It comes off the bar, hits Strout, goes into the net, and then from there it's a Stoke win, and it was a Stoke win. And Messi goal, Messi defeat, awful performance, and we're now 9 points behind Ipswich Town, who won again last night on an absolute roll. And I don't think at this stage, I don't think Leicester or Ipswich can be stopped. And are we going to be scrapping around for the playoffs come the end of the season? We need to be winning games like that. We need to be putting away teams like that. We need to be starting better, because that creates the sort of pattern of the game. And it wasn't good enough. They were so slow. I mean, I was impressed with Stoke and the way that they came out without really testing Melier too much. They had the play, they were more aggressive and more forward thinking with their passes and movement and quick movement. And they caught us cold, they caught us out. We didn't really know how to get going once the game had fully got into its stride, and it just wasn't it just wasn't a good night for Leeds. We go into the derby against Huddersfield, um, you know, needing to win. But let me know your thoughts on that horrible performance. Nobody played well. For me, like I said, enemies number one and two, Mr. Daniel Farke and Mr. Patrick Bamford. Have a word with yourself, lads. Come back better on Saturday, because we need to bounce back and win the game. Thanks very much for watching. As always, remember to like and subscribe to the channel if you are new and enjoy the content. Or if you're old and enjoy the content, you've been listening or watching for a while and you haven't yet subscribed. If you do like the content that I do, hit that subscribe button. Thanks a lot for watching. Marching on together. I'll see you on the next one.